Winos, welcome to another episode of Vino In The City. It is your girl Mash Ramu, and today I am so excited to have my guest, Dr. Nobu Khanyile, otherwise I know her as Khanya. Thank you so much for being a guest on Vino In The City. Yeah. We're going to do Vino Light today, but it's fine because there's been innovation because of COVID-19, and remember when Cyril literally put the whole country on sober mode. So today we're going to have a de-alcoholized wine that we both haven't tried out. It's called Van Laveren.
I've heard of him. I have heard of him, yeah. But it's interesting. I'm interested to see what it tastes like.
Have you ever had de-alcoholized?
No.
Is it de-alcoholized?
De-alcoholized?
No.
I haven't.
Myself. So this one is a wonderful white. So also please, she cannot judge my wine palate on the alcoholized wine.
I completely understand it.
So
I think it's actually I make like non-alcoholic wine that actually tastes like wine.
Yes.
But okay, it's fine.
Okay. So don't judge me because a lot of my guests really love my wine palate, the wines that I've made them taste. So you know when you're in the streets and they're like, honey, I've been on the city and they ask you, how was the wine you had? Don't say it was terrible.
I will not say it was terrible.
My wine rate, okay. Tell everyone why you're not drinking wine.
So I have a very, very strict personal trainer. His name is Watson. So anyone who follows me on social media knows that I always do like a lot of workouts with Watson. And so he's got me on a strict plan because December's coming and like a lot of big things are coming in 2021. So he's like, no alcohol, we're eating clean, we're sticking to a proper diet. And so I'm seeing him tomorrow, and if I drink any alcohol, he will know. Because my body will just, like I'm at that point in my life where my body just doesn't respond well when I drink. I remember in varsity, Thursday to Monday, we were in the streets. And then waking up and going to class at 8 a.m. we were there.
It's not the same no more. No.
Shall we?
We can. And as we toast or clink, I also want to say congratulations.
Thank you
for your engagement. And what's going to be a new surname?
Lenake. Well, Khanyile Lenake, but
okay, double barrel.
Yes, yeah.
Woman empowerment.
I'm a brand.
2020. Cheers. Let me know how it tastes. Everyone knows this, but you are a young medical doctor and you chose to specialize in pediatrics. Why is that?
For me, it's the resilience of kids. There's two things. So they are so resilient when it comes to how they bounce back from illness. And they also don't lie about their illness. So when they're sick, they show you on their face. We always talk about the appearance and the activity of a child. You can see them getting better in front of your eyes. And it happens over hours, which is so great for me as well because it's so rewarding.
Okay.
But I think the biggest thing for me is secondly the community health aspect of it. Community health is a very big deal for me because I feel like when I teach one mom about how to care for her child, because of the dynamics of our society, she teaches her other children, she takes care of her other children, but she also teaches the people in her community about that. She will be able to help them see what is right and what's wrong. And not to say that, she needs to shout at them or, condemn them for anything they're doing, but learning what is the good habits, bad habits, what danger signs, things that she needs to be aware of. And that just really helps take a load off my job because then the community is healthy.
Young people, when they think of medicine, they think of money. Right?
Yeah.
We spoke about this. They think of money. And they quickly want to get into private, do what is bare minimum for public and then quickly move on to private. But it seems as though you are passionate about the disempowered mom and really empowering her and her family.
Definitely, because I think the way that I understand medicine, I try to explain it to myself as simply as possible. Because when it's simple for me to understand, I can then explain it to someone else. And when it's simple for them to understand, then my job is done. Then they're never going to have to come back to me for every little, I don't understand what's going on. This is, should I bring my child? Shouldn't I bring my child? When a mom knows her child's state, when she understands who her child is, when she understands their quirks, when they deviate from that path, they need help. And when they understand what help to provide, in their own capacity versus moving outside to having to come to a clinic or hospital. That's the really big important thing for me. So in private, I feel like there's a big dependence on I need to call the pediatrician, I need to call this person for help, and we lose that empowerment because moms just have that easy accessibility. That's great, and I think it's important that we do still get compensated for the work we do. We do still earn a living, but for me, I don't care about the money because what's the point of earning the money if the patients that I'm taking care of are dying or are feeling that they constantly need my input into their lives? I really can explain this to a mom and change communities with a conversation.
Yes.
One conversation can really change 4 or 5 children's lives, and that's for me where I want to make medicine easily accessible for people. Yeah.
You're someone on social media that's all about positive vibes.
Yeah.
Right. But also teaching. You know, I think there's a big aspect of coaching in you. Why is it important for people to really invest in their mental health?
Because at the end of the day, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think it's all great and it's all well to have all these accolades to your name, to have all these academic achievements and all these titles. But then at the end of the day, who are you when all of that gets taken away? And I think lockdown brought that into the light for a lot of people. Because you can't go to work now either because your job gets taken away because, you know, there's no money to pay you, or you can't finish your degree because you can't physically be there. So it made a lot of people think, who am I outside of the stuff?
Everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And so for me, like, at least with medicine, I will always be needed. But even if I had to stop being a doctor, I still want to make sure that even if you take away all the members of my family, even if you take away my person, even if you take away my job and my title, who am I at my core? Am I still going to be able to bounce back from all of that? And it always comes to the story of Job, because Job at his core was someone who believed in God. And the devil tried to play this game with him and took away everything, but he still remained so faithful. And he got it back. And it's not because he let that, you know, despair consume him, because it was a lot.
It was a lot.
But he still believed at the end of the day. Exactly. But he still believes at the end of the day that there is a God who is here for me.
Yes.
And for me, that's it. If I have God, I'm
that's
fine.
you.
And I actually realized I'm pretty entertaining myself. Like, I can keep myself busy for like a few days and I'll be fine.
Exactly. No, it's so important to be your own best friend. You know, there's a topic that, you know, and as much as we speak a lot about mental health, you know, one of the topics that isn't highlighted as much, you know, is feminine health.
Yeah.
And what is your perspective of feminine health, you know? And where are we in the conversation as women, even today, as a millennial woman, as a young person? Where are this conversation about feminine health and looking after yourself?
Too much of our feminine health is dictated by men. And what I mean by that is you're always hiding your period, or you're always running away from trying to like make your vagina smell nicer or yoni steaming. And I'm like, no man, your vagina has a smell and it's acidic for a reason. It's protective.
Yes.
And you can't want to change that to please another person.
So is it a good thing?
No, it's not. What? The acidity.
Yes.
Yes. So even with your staining of your underwear,
yes,
your vagina has to be that way because it's got to deal with a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
So there's normal bacteria and things that live there on your skin and in your vagina that if they get into your body or into your bloodstream, you could actually die from those.
Exactly.
So that acidity kills off bacteria. And even with a man, when he ejaculates in you, his sperm is a little bit alkaline because it allows for it to be protected when it swims through your reproductive tract to get to your egg to make you pregnant, right? So his body has done what it needs to do to beat your body's acidity.
Yes.
So why must we now go and like do all these other fancy things? Like, leave it alone, babes. If he has a problem with the smell or he has a problem with the taste, then maybe you need to go and chat to a doctor about it.
This is news.
If the doctor says you're fine, leave your vagina alone. And I think a lot of people don't know their smell. Like, I know my smell. I can tell you when I'm ovulating. I can see the consistency of
What
my
do you mean?
fluid.
Are there different smells throughout the month?
Yes.
What?
I can tell you after a heavy night of drinking.
Yes.
I will know, okay, here I'm off. Some women get thrush and then they think, oh my gosh, she gave me an STI. But no, it's just because, babes, you had a wild night 2 nights ago and you've thrown your flora off. When you're stressed, women get thrush. There are so many things like sexually transmitted infections that look a particular way and smell a particular way. And there's a difference between that and a normal bacterial vaginosis, which is just an off balance of your pH in your vagina. And now you're stressing because you're like, oh my gosh, my husband or my boyfriend thinks I'm cheating on him. But it's just because you're stressed because of work.
Exactly.
And so we're so dictated by this idea that we have to have clean, nice smelling, looking vaginas for men, that we forget that it's always been this way and it's going to keep being that way for a reason.
Yes.
Because it's protecting us.
Exactly.
And so I always tell my people, I'm like, listen.
So are you in the situation now? Well, yoni steaming?
No, lost for yoni steam. Like, listen. If your vagina has a smell that you're not used to, if it's a new smell, go check it out. But you know yourself. Like, I think inherently you know what you smell like. You know what you feel like. If that changes, go check it out. But if a man can't handle the smell and the taste, then he must grow up.
I love that.
Yeah.
And also when it comes to like menstruation, right? I mean, the other day I was reading and I came across a cupping, right? And I'm like, what the hell is cups? Like, please explain. A lot of people
fascinating invention. So basically they've got these silicone cups. Some of them are silicone. There's different material that they make. But instead of you inserting a tampon that then gets full and you have to remove, or having a pad, you basically insert this cup, and it acts like a layer that collects all the menstrual fluid that comes out. Because it's not really blood, it's more fluid that's coming out and endothelial lining in your uterus. And then when you're ready, you go to the bathroom, you just pour it out, and then you rinse the cup with water, plain water, and you put it back in. And it's so economical, it's safe, because the cup itself, the material that it's made from is antibacterial as well. And also, for someone who is very personal and you don't have access to throwing away things, because having a bin in the house, and you don't want to put your period things with your food,
with everything,
kitchen things. So it's really,
or even when you're visiting people.
Yes.
And you're at a bar, you're at something, and you have to change. You have to switch over your pad or whatever, or your tampon, and you don't know.
Yes, and also it also prevents that thing of spillage, because it just keeps it there. So even if it keeps coming, you will feel the discomfort, but it won't spill out.
Yes.
Because there's also different sizes, and they look at different flows and things like that. But because you're going to change it, you minimize the risk of infection, and also you minimize discomfort, because you then can say, okay, cool, I'm happy. A lot of people I know have used panty liners because they just want to be sure, and then eventually you just get over the panty liner because you're just like, oh, this thing's actually it works so well.
Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it personally, just because for me I really enjoy using tampons, and I have the ability to change it quite frequently. But I have advised a lot of young girls that I've worked with, and there's so many companies, you can literally go online and Google menstrual cup. And there's so many different products that come up, and they're all really reliable. I just think that always have a backup, because when you're first trying it out, so that you can get used to it, because there's different sizes, there's different volumes that it can take and things like that. And also women are different, so you need to get used to that feeling of having it in there. But then it's gone.
Can you swim with it?
Yeah, you can. Because don't forget, when your vagina is like a vacuum. So once you put it in there, it just kind of holds it in place, and all your muscles will go around it the same way it keeps a tampon in.
Yes. I read about it and I'm just like, where has this been all my life?
Can you imagine?
But the fact that also you can reuse it. Why are pads still then the biggest female feminine hygiene product for your menstrual period, when these things that you can recycle?
Because it's what we know. And I think that's very difficult to challenge people. Like even going from pads to tampons, that was a big shift,
Yeah.
It also promotes a lot more freedom. And for a woman to be more free goes against a lot of what society's practice.
Yeah.
And so I think you find that it's a way to really entrap you in a kind of way of thinking. And if we can keep you there, then you're not going to be busy conquering the world.
Yes.
You're going to be too busy worried about your period health, which is a problem. Period poverty is a real thing in this country.
Yes. I wanted to find out, especially in the early days of the lockdown, where was your mental mindset, especially when our president announced that we're going to go into hard lockdown and essential workers, particularly like doctors, need to remain in the front line.
Yeah.
Honestly, where was your fear level? Were you like, yes, superwoman out for the rescue?
Yeah.
Or was there some fear in you because no one really knew, you know, what this virus was? It was so early, you know, globally in the pandemic.
I always knew there was going to be a point where I was going to be expected to do something that the rest of the world was not going to have to do. Yes, it was. The biggest fear for me wasn't catching the virus per se. The biggest fear for me was if I caught the virus and I needed a hospital and there wasn't a bed for me. That was the worry. Because then I was just like, but I'm a healthcare worker. What do you mean there's no bed for me?
Yes.
And the second thing was having to stay away from my family and friends for 14 days on my own.
Sure.
That was a big fear because at least at the time I was staying with my partner, so it would just be him and I. But now, like, not seeing my mom, not seeing my sisters, and even though there's FaceTime and stuff like that, still not being allowed to see people is quite hectic. So that was the other thing. If I infect someone else and they get really sick and they die, like, that's scary.
Yeah.
But for me, I was just like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do it.
Really?
We're ready to go.
Really?
We had the PPE. And that was like, I was lucky in the hospital I was where we had like PPE task forces set up to make sure we had all the stuff. So that was it really for me. I was ready to go.
And what did you see like during your 10 years this year, especially like in the thick of, you know, the pandemic?
I was lucky because we work with kids, so the kids didn't get as severely affected as adults. And also, I think I haven't actually worked with a COVID positive case who was sick.
Okay.
So I've seen lots of COVID positive cases, but we just found that because they were going for procedures, or kids who just happened to be admitted and they were swabbed, or moms who were in the hospital and we had to swab them because we needed to know where we needed to put the kids. But for me, I was lucky enough that I didn't get to see that. But when I spoke to colleagues of mine, they were just broken because they would have to be in the full PPE the entire day, doing like 12-hour shifts. At least with the adult patients, they didn't have to do full 24-hour course, but they did 12-hour shifts in those hazmat suits and the heat and the masks and everything. And just having to see patients like die because they don't have access to basic things like oxygen.
Yeah.
That was really, really traumatizing for a lot of people, and also because a lot of our interns just started working this year, and then they had to go through that. So having to supervise interns when you yourself have never seen this before, and also then having to support them mentally, was incredibly difficult for a lot of my colleagues.
How did you keep your mental sanity during 2020?
I cried a lot. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of crying. And it's not necessarily that you have to like do that movie cry, you know, that one where you're like all the time. Sometimes it would be just days where I would sit in my car and I would switch off all the music and I just drive home from work. Because it's not just COVID that comes to the hospital. All the other people with all the other conditions that they still normally would have still come, you know, and you still have to deal with the normal stuff. So I would just sit in my car and just maybe a tear would come out. Prayer was a big component of it. So it was talking to God all the time and saying, I have no idea what's going on with this condition. I have no idea what's going on with the economy, with the people, but just God fix it. Let me just do what I have to do every day, because I honestly can't change anything except my attitude to what I'm doing and the way that I approach my work. And even if I complain about everything, it's not going to change. It's still going to be problematic. And I think the third thing for me was really talking to my family and friends. Because everyone was so interested to know, but it was also quite difficult for me because they were so worried about me, but sharing that over and over again was exhausting. So it would be just reaching out to maybe one or two, or just whenever I need it, just a friend popped into my mind, I would just be like, listen, Jimmy, I need like a prayer because I'm not okay, you know? And I think that's important. I have friends who are I'm very lucky to have friends who understand that I might not tell you everything, but when I'm calling you about this particular thing, it's just because I need your help with this thing. And it's not that I don't love you because I'm not telling you everything, but there's just so many things going on in my mind. It's exhausting to talk about them all the time.
So I'm asked a very personal question because, you know, people want to know about you. How did you and your fiancé meet?
So the politically correct version is we've known each other for quite a long time. And we always had a mutual friend, and basically there was a period where I was single and he was available, and then we just kind of hooked up, and we've just been inseparable ever since.
Yes.
The actual story is I threw a brick. Yeah, I saw this guy and yeah.
You went for what you want.
Pretty much, I saw my soulmate and
How did you know he was the one?
you have to meet him to know. He's just incredibly sure of himself. He knows who he is and he's not afraid for me to shine. I think the biggest problem for me is that I'm so ambitious and I'm so like out there that I tend to overshadow my partner sometimes, and it can bring out insecurities in someone. And so I feel that for me, he never made that an issue. He just knew that's part of my personality, and it's always been, you know, in a relationship, he's never given me the feeling that who I am is like bad or I should apologize for it or I should change.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so he's
That's what you
allowed
want
me to
from a
be
partner.
exactly who I am, as I am, and just like flourish. I think the biggest success I've had, like in my whole career, has happened with him. Just because he's just like, go babes.
That's amazing.
So great.
That's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for being a guest.
Yeah.
So as we end, what we do is we drink the wine again, and we need to decide out of 5 wine glasses how many wine glasses you would give it.
Okay.
And then where you would have it again, if you would have it again. Okay.
Cheers. Yes.
Kind of look me in the eye. You see, she does nice things all the time.
Girl, 7 years is a long time. It actually doesn't taste bad. It's a little bit
Sour.
there's a sour taste to it. It's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be, but it's still kind of.
I can that it sounds sweet. When you smell it, what comes to mind? What are the notes that you can smell?
It's just sour. So you must understand, I'm not a wine person. I'm a whiskey person. But when I do smell it, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's very fruity, to be honest, when I smell it. More fruity than the way it tastes.
Yes. Yeah.
But I can smell that it's going to be more sour, so like more of your citrus fruits versus like your other types of fruits, like berries.
Yeah. I don't get the berries at all. Yeah, I agree. But it's nice.
And how does it taste? Beyond sour, what else comes to mind? Especially, you know, what I always say to my guests is, as soon as it touches the front part of your tongue, what is that experience?
It's refreshing. It's a little bit sweet when it touches, and then I think the aftertaste is a little bit more sour. Like
Yes.
When it hits my palate, it's a little bit more sour. Yeah, it just feels like I don't want to say vinegary, but I feel like there's a strong vinegar taste coming through.
Actually, you know, that's it tastes like, I'm saying it sounds. It tastes like it's vinegar.
Yeah.
It tastes like it's vinegar, like apple cider vinegar.
Yes, like that. Yeah. Which is great for weight loss.
Watson, I got you, my guy. I got you.
But yeah, it's not a strong, overpowering taste, but it is still vegan.
Okay, do you think you'd have it?
No. But maybe if someone had me over, I wouldn't like complain. Like, oh my gosh, why are you eat this wine?
Well, during this time when you're like Watson's got you on like your 7, you'll probably have it.
I think so, yeah. I personally wouldn't choose, again, like I said, I wouldn't choose a white wine per se. I'm more like a rosé, kind of red wine person. I think that sits with my blood type better.
Is it?
Yeah.
And when was the first time you had wine? I know you drink whiskey, but when was the first time you had wine?
Varsity. But it was that box wine.
You also
You know, that's that box wine.
Which one was your brand?
Oh, 4 Cousins.
4 Cousins. Oh, you know, you're talking about boxes, guys. I used to have Bingudu with my friends.
Wow, yes.
Of 4 Cousins.
Yes.
Guys, it went down. So it's the rite of passage, guys. 4 Cousins is the rite of passage for all wine.
And I think it was one of those cool things because it was the one we could afford the most of.
Yes.
And you also don't want to go up and down to the store, so you just get like 2 boxes. You and your girls or you and your friends are sitting. You have that time of your life. I used to always wake up with a headache the next morning, but then we take painkillers and we keep it moving.
Yeah. So now it's interesting. You said you loved whiskey. When did that? Have you always loved whiskey? Or
No. So I
when did
started
that happen?
in varsity.
as well.
Yeah, in varsity.
Which whiskey were you affording? Please, can you tell us, guys?
No, babe. I was a yellow ball.
Oh.
So you're not used to like, hey, baby girl, can I take you out on a date? And I'm just like, okay. And so one day somebody gave me a glass of Jameson, and I was just like, this is so nice. Because it was always Johnny Black and all these weird things. And they're a bit too harsh for my palate. But Jameson has this really nice note in it where you can add a little bit of lime to it and it brings out the sweetness of the whiskey. And so I would have, like, anybody who knows me in varsity knew it was double Jameson on the rocks with this, like, a little bit of lime. And that was my go-to drink. And I really enjoyed it because it's on the rocks, it brings out the flavor as the ice melts. But also you can't drink it like a cider or something like that because it's still quite a strong taste and a strong flavor.
It is.
So it was nice because you'd only have like 2 or 3 through the night, but it would hold you at a really nice level. You don't get too far.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't make me too sleepy because that's the other thing that alcohol does for me. It just knocks me out. And I think with wine, 2 glasses, babes. Good time. So it was really nice to find something that had a good balance. And importantly, when I wake up in the morning, I don't have a hangover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would give it a 3. And I think if I was to have it again, it would be like on a hot summer's day, inside, eating some like at home. Something like salty to offset a little bit of the sourness.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were saying vinegar.
Yeah.
I think even being kind, I think I could give it a 2.5.
Okay.
I really would. Because, you know, I've been drinking apple cider vinegar with water, and it's just
giving it back.
It's just giving me back that apple cider vinegar. And you know, when you drink wine, you want to feel like you escape it,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So for me, it doesn't feel like a total escape. It feels like
Still reminding you of what you had this morning.
Water.
Get you away from this thing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So there's not much indulgence for me. It doesn't have an indulgence.
I agree. I agree.
So I think we're being kind.
Well, I mean, I like to be a nice person.
Thank you so much for being a guest. If you guys really enjoyed this episode, you know what you need to do. Like, share, and subscribe. But also leave your comments and questions for our beautiful, amazing young medical doctor and 360 kilo of everything. And hopefully you can also answer them later on. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Easy.